For 2 years, I worked the night shift at a convenience store. The hours were quiet, almost peaceful. Regulars trickled in, students craving caffeine, tired parents needing diapers, the occasional night owl grabbing snacks. I liked the rhythm. It was steady, reliable. Dave, the security guard, and I had a nightly routine, locking up together with easy small talk. That predictability became my comfort until someone else started noticing my routine a little too well. It began one fall night. A man in his late 40s came through my checkout line just before midnight. He looked like anyone else: hoodie, jeans, frozen dinners, a six-pack. As I rang him up, he smiled slightly and said, "Man, I always seem to catch your shift. You close at midnight, right?" I laughed, a little confused. "Yeah, same schedule every week." He nodded and left without another word. I didn't think much of it. People say weird things late at night. But that was just the start. A few days later, he returned. Same time, same lingering smile. "Busy night?" he asked. I shook my head. "Didn't think so," he said. "I know your schedule and all." My hands froze mid-scan. "Monday to Friday, right? 4 to midnight. Break at 9:30. You grab coffee by aisle 5, then step out through the side door to the lot." My heart dropped. I'd never told anyone that, not even Dave. I forced a weak laugh, but dread crept in. After that, he showed up nightly, always near closing, always buying just enough to justify being there. Worse, he'd linger outside afterward, standing in the shadows of the lot. One night, he said something that chilled me. "You park in that corner spot, huh? Smart. No one can block you in." I changed my parking spot that same night. The next shift, he noticed. "Switched spots, huh?" I didn't reply, just stared at him as he walked away. That night, I told Dave everything. We checked the security footage. There he was every night, standing outside the store, unmoving, watching. My stomach twisted. The following evening, he didn't show. For the first time in weeks, I felt relief. But it didn't last. Just before midnight, while taking out the trash, I saw him. He stood in the dark corner of the parking lot, motionless. No smile, just watching. I ran back inside, and Dave walked me to my car. I thought it was over. A week later, driving home. After a late shift, I noticed headlights behind me, too far to see who it was, but too consistent to be coincidence. I changed lanes. So did they. I took a random exit, still there. I pulled into a gas station under the brightest lights I could find. The car slowed, paused, then vanished. Shaking, I waited before taking a completely different route home. The next day, I filed a police report. They took it seriously and promised patrols. The man never came back. Maybe he was scared off. Or maybe he was just done. Still, on certain nights, I'd feel eyes on me, watching, waiting. But that wasn't the only strange encounter I've had working late hours. Before the store, I worked at a funeral home for over 10 years. It was quiet work, clean and methodical. One night in January, I was prepping a body when I looked up and saw a tall, thin man in a black suit standing by the casket in the viewing room. I assumed he was family, saying a private goodbye. "Sorry, sir," I called. "The service is tomorrow." He didn't respond, didn't blink, just stared. I stepped toward him, then the phone rang. I turned for a second. When I looked back, he was gone. No doors opened, no footsteps, nothing. The building was locked, security armed. Later, I checked the footage. There was no one there, just me talking to empty air. The next night, I returned, unsettled but curious. As I closed up around 10:45, I noticed movement in the embalming room. Window only, the room was empty. The reflection lingered, watching. On the third night, I stayed even later. Around 11:30, just as I grabbed my coat, I heard a door creak open. I raced to the viewing room. The casket, sealed tight hours before, was open. Slowly, silently, the lid rose. I quit the next day. That experience haunted me. But the worst came during a hospital night shift. I'd just finished a 12-hour emergency room grind. At 2:30 a.m., I stepped toward the elevator, where a security guard stood tall, clean uniform, but something was off. His badge was too shiny, no radio. "Main lot's blocked," he said. "I'll show you a shortcut." Exhausted and numb, I followed. He led me to a side door. Outside, a gray van idled, back doors open. Something felt wrong. I hesitated, then another guard, one I recognized, came rushing over. The imposter bolted. Cops later confirmed it. The man was a known trafficker. I survived by seconds. Even months later, driving home one night, I saw that same van, parked off a highway shoulder, waiting. And then there was Montana. Back in 2019, I worked a remote gas station night shift. One cold October night, a truck sat in the lot with its headlights off. I noticed two men watching from the shadows. When I stepped out, they moved fast, too fast. I slammed the door and locked it just in time. They left. The next night, they returned. One of them called the store and asked, "Why didn't you come out last night?" I never worked another shift. There again. The night shift taught me that not every shadow is empty, and sometimes it's not what's hiding in the dark that should scare you. It's what's watching, waiting, and remembering everything.